Darth, Theorist, rise.
What if Anakin, Obi-Wan, and Ahsoka rescued Duchess Satine? Let's explore the depths of it in the video. If you enjoy deep dives into Harry Potter or Game of Thrones, check out our sister channels, Half-Blood Theorist and Three-Eyed Theorist. Links in the description. The Republic certainly will not help after Satine's insistence on neutrality. The two offer their apologies, but their decision is final. Obi-Wan bows his head, though as he leaves, he is now thinking of alternatives. The Republic might not support the deployment of a task force, but that does not mean that he will just sit around. He does not expect to be on any missions soon, so he can go in alone. It's only a matter of finding transportation. Pulling out his datapad, he begins looking for ships he can rent for the mission, and wonders if this is what Anakin does every time he goes off on his own. Suddenly, the thought of his former Padawan causes him to readjust his plan. Anakin. If there's any person he can trust to help him in a time like this, it's him. The boy is no stranger to unauthorized deployments, and Obi-Wan could use the backup. Taking a deep breath, he sends a message out to him. The young Jedi appears a few minutes later, accompanied by Ahsoka.
So, what is so important that you brought me here, Master?
Anakin, a matter of grave importance has recently come to my attention, and I need your help. Maul has resurfaced.
That's bad.
And now he's on Mandalore. He somehow managed to take Mandalore, and has Duchess Satine as his prisoner.
That's worse.
Before she was captured, she managed to send me a message asking for help. But you know as well as I that the Jedi Order will not send help.
But we can't just sit here doing nothing.
No, we can't. That is why I'm planning to go there and rescue her, and I was hoping you two would help me. Now, I know what I'm suggesting is incredibly dangerous, so if you have misgivings, you can walk away now.
Come on, Master. You really think danger is going to stop me? And besides, messing with the Jedi Council is just a bonus.
What Master means is that Duchess Satine is my friend too, and we're not going to leave you to face Maul alone. We're here to help, whatever it takes.
Thank you, my friends. You don't know how much this means to me. But first, we need to get transportation.
We can take the Twilight.
That junk pile? You haven't fixed it since that mission on Mustafar.
I told you, I'm still waiting on parts. Besides, it can fly.
Barely.
And it's nondescript. No one expects Jedi to use something like that.
No one expects anyone to use something like that, but it's better than nothing.
Soon enough, the Twilight takes off, leaving the Jedi Temple behind and setting course to Mandalore. They manage to secure clearance to land on Sundari, and once they arrive, Obi-Wan manages to secure them an access key from one of the guards. He decides to head into the prison and finds Satine, while the others manage to escape without a fight, but as they leave the prison, a Mandalorian scout watches them from a nearby rooftop. He zooms in on the pair and sends the recording to Maul, who sits up at the sight of the speeder leaving. Even with Obi-Wan wearing a Mandalorian uniform, Maul has no doubt who he is. The Night Brother can feel the presence in the Force, and it is the same one he felt on Florum, and before that, on Rhydonia and Naboo. But this one is more desperate, and this brings a smile to his face. He is about to order his guards after them, but then he feels a slight tingle in the back of his mind as he senses something else. Enjoying the story? You can listen to these on the go. Search Darth Theorist or Three-Eyed Theorist on your favorite podcast service. Links are in the description. Now, back to it. Another presence within the city. This one is much rawer and less hidden. It is a presence that causes him to reconsider. His fingers curl into a fist as a smile crosses his face.
Master, should we send the guards to apprehend them?
No. This matter requires our personal attention, brother. A great opportunity has presented itself, but we must act quickly.
Master?
Gather the commandos. We're confronting the Jedi.
Rather than attacking him, the scouts send their coordinates to track them down. Obi-Wan and Satine reach the ship without any incident. They're just about to depart when Mandalorians suddenly appear, hiding from the rooftops or jetting down from below the docks. In seconds, the spaceport is filled with blaster fire. Anakin has his lightsaber out in seconds, deflecting some of the oncoming shots as the Twilight is riddled with blaster bolts. He shouts for Satine and Obi-Wan to get inside while Ahsoka powers up the engines and it activates the guns, which open fire on some of the Mandalorians and force the others to dive for cover. The attack slackens, and they take this chance to try to escape. Everyone climbs aboard, and the ship begins to rise from the ground, but it barely gets 10 feet before a trio of commandos leap up from their cover and fire their jetpack rockets. The missiles strike the Twilight's wing, which rips free from its main body and tumbles to the ground far below the spaceport. The rest of the ship lists awkwardly, as it is now off balance. Ahsoka grips the controls and tries to direct the ship away from the edge of the platform. She succeeds, but it continues to spin until it hits the side of a warehouse, forcing its occupants to run out just as it erupts in flames. Mandalorians move to surround the burning vessel just as the docking ramp opens. They ready their weapons, and a trio of figures leaps out. They are barely a blur as a sudden force explosion throws the warriors back, giving the three Jedi a chance to form a defensive circle around Satine, who stumbles out a moment later. Their lightsabers flash desperately, cutting through the air as they fight to hold the relentless barrage of blaster bolts. Some Mandalorians go down as their weapons are reflected back at them, but the rest continue to advance upon them. The Jedi find themselves having to back up further and further until their backs are against the wall, and then another burst of force energy bursts forward. However, it doesn't come from the Jedi. Instead, it flies from behind the Mandalorians and throws the three of Jedi off their feet. Instead of taking advantage and gunning them down, the Mandalorians step aside and to make way for Maul and Savage to pass. Obi-Wan's eyes widen, and he grips his lightsaber. He's about to spring forward, but Maul is faster. He raises his hand, and Obi-Wan rises off the ground. Maul smirks and slams him against the smoldering wreckage of the twilight. Bits of debris crumble close to Obi-Wan, and the Jedi wonders if he's going to burn there, but suddenly he falls to the ground. Anakin and Ahsoka both move to defend him, but Savage steps between them. He crosses his arms, daring them to attack.
Master Kenobi, what an expected pleasure. But bringing your friends here, now that was a truly pleasant surprise. Take them, brother. We have business to take care of. And don't forget about the Duchess. She has much to answer for.
Maul, if you touch her...
You are not in a position to be making demands, my old foe. However, if you do not understand your position, let me be clear. If you so much as twitch out of line, I'm going to kill her, and all your friends. Understand?
Obi-Wan opens his mouth, but thinks better of it and then simply bows his head, allowing Savage to lead them away. The hulking warrior loads them up to a speeder, which takes them back to the palace, the one that Duchess Satine once called her own. However, this time the gentle stained glass windows and images of peace are gone, replaced with the jagged visage of Mandalore's warrior culture. They see pictures of conquest and destruction. Satine wrinkles her nose in disgust at this affront to her beliefs, but Maul pays her little mind. Instead, he moves onto the throne and sits with one leg propped up against the arm of the seat. Savage moves to his side and glances at the prisoners warily.
Brother, are we to dispose of Kenobi now? No, not yet. I have something else planned. What? But wasn't this the point? To lure him here so you can exact your revenge?
The plan called for him and him alone. But as you can see, this is not what has come to pass. But I can work with this. It simply requires some careful adjustments.
Whatever you have to say, you can say it to the rest of them.
Oh, so eager to learn of your fate. Very well. My plan was simple. To take everything you hold dear, Kenobi, as you did to me. I would do it right in front of you, slowly, painfully, starting with the one you love most.
I do not fear you, monster, or what you will do to me. Obi-Wan, do not let...
However, you have actually done me a great service, which has made me reconsider.
And what service have I done for you?
You still have not figured it out then. You brought me the being my former master is most interested in. The one whose corruption he values the most. Skywalker.
Me?
Yes. After all, if the Chosen One were to turn to the dark side, it would be an irrevocable blow to the Jedi Order. So my master has made his mission to turn you.
What are you talking about? No one's ever tried to turn me against the Jedi. Except for maybe Dooku.
Dooku? He's my master's blunt instrument, the face of his evil, but no. The true master of the Sith does not brandish a lightsaber or threaten you with destruction. He works using subtlety, whispering in your ear, sowing doubts about the Jedi Order or your beliefs. Someone who wears the mask of a friend, yet seems to always benefit as the war goes on.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Really? Don't you think there is anyone who is not what they seem? A false friend, someone who seems to always question what you stand for. Someone in power, a Jedi Master, a senator, perhaps even the Chancellor.
Be quiet. I don't want to hear this.
If you don't want to hear it, then it means he's already gotten his hands around you. And you, Kenobi, You seem to be deep in thought.
Maul, what do you know? I've heard whispers that there is a Sith in the Republic who occupies the highest offices.
It's a lie, Master. Surely you can't believe these two. They're Sith. It's in their interest to lie to us.
It is clearly a lot for the boy to take in, so perhaps you need time. Lock them up and make sure they do not escape. As for you, Savage, come with me. We have preparations to make. It will not be long before my former master realizes where his newest project is, and we must be ready.
His guards take Satine and the Jedi back to their cells, leaving Maul alone to contemplate everything that just happened. He begins to gather his soldiers and prepare contingencies for what is to happen next. Just as Maul predicts, it isn't long before the Chancellor gets word of what happened to Anakin. Their disappearance is soon noted, and when he asks the Jedi Council about it, they admit that Obi-Wan received a transmission from Maul and likely went to confront him. Skywalker and Ahsoka are probably with him. That is enough for the Chancellor. While he cannot get the Republic involved, he cannot allow his former student to run unchecked. More importantly, he cannot risk losing Skywalker, so he decides to journey to Mandalore, easily getting past the guards and making his way towards the palace. However, he cannot mask his presence in the Force, especially not against someone who's already expecting him. Maul feels the shift immediately and calls for his guards, while he turns to Savage to warn him that they are in for the fight of their lives. Then he taps his communicator, just as the presence is right on top of them. Palpatine's hooded form appears by the palace doors. The guards who try to stop the Night Brothers do not falter, and instead ignite their weapons.
Master, I have been expecting you.
You have taken something that belongs to me, my failed apprentice, and I shall have it back, but not before I make you suffer.
I have taken nothing, Master. What has arrived at my doorstep came at their own free will. Perhaps you should take better care of your things.
Arrogant as always. That is why you were defeated on Naboo, and it is why you shall fall today.
Not this time.
With a snarl, Maul rushes forward. He lifts the stone chairs behind him and sends them flying towards Palpatine. The Chancellor chuckles and weaves through them, moving in a zigzag pattern, letting each one slide past him. He does not even slow down, as a few miss him by mere inches. Palpatine follow-up low strike knocks him just as Maul leaps between them. His saber staff ignites and whirls around and drives at his opponent's side. For his part, Palpatine sidesteps the attack and then blocks an upward slash. Maul continues to spin and try to overwhelm him, but the Chancellor is more than capable of keeping up. Savage tries to help, rushing in with a barrage of clumsy but powerful attacks. The hulking warrior roars and tries to drive Palpatine back, at times just trying to bowl him over with his size. Palpatine has no problem with such clumsy attacks, and when Savage lowers his shoulder to ram him, the Chancellor leaps over the charging Night Brother and cuts his back. Savage roars, as the only thing protecting him from a grievous wound is his armor, weapon to bring the second blade up. Savage tries to jab his own lightsaber behind him, but Palpatine is already moving. He raises his lightsaber as the two advance upon him. He parries their next few attacks and continues giving ground. When Savage tries to attack again, Palpatine redirects his attack and strikes him with the hilt of his weapon. Once off balance, he channels the Force to pull the large warrior forward just as Maul moves to attack. Seeing this, the Dark Warrior pulls his attack back at the last second to avoid hurting him. Palpatine takes this chance and unleashes Force lightning at the two of them, sending them flying back.
Brother, he is too powerful. We must retreat and commence our backup plan. Stick close to me.
Suddenly, the Night Brothers raise their hands and reach out for the chairs Maul had hurled earlier. Most are cracked and broken, but now they crush them further, using the Force like a hydraulic press and smashing them into rubble. Palpatine turns at the sound just in time as the pounded dust rushes at him like a miniature sandstorm. He raises his hands protectively, preventing them from scoring his flesh from his body, but that is not what Maul is planning. It creates a dust cloud that allows the pair to escape. By the time Palpatine manages to clear it, the two have escaped through a nearby hallway. Cursing, he chases after them, trying to use their presence to track them down, and just barely manages to keep up as they move through the maze of hallways. He finds them in a large garden surrounded by 30 or so Mandalorian warriors. Maul raises his hand, and the super commandos rush at them. Blaster fire rains down on Palpatine, who whirls his lightsabers around to deflect against the barrage, sending some blaster bolts back before rushing towards some hedges. From there, the lightning explodes outward and throws some warriors back, leaving their bodies sparking on the ground. When some make the mistake of getting too close, Palpatine leaps out, his lightsaber whirling around and cutting 4 warriors down in quick succession. He follows, and then lifts another group of them, and then, clenching his fist, he uses the Force to break their bones instantly, before hurling their broken bodies into the air. This forces the remaining warriors to scatter from the attack. This gives Palpatine the chance to take cover behind a tree and prepare his next move. taking a few deep breaths and reaching out into the Force, not just within himself, but in the ground around him and the warriors swarming his position. He does not ask for help or try to connect with it. Instead, he consumes it and uses it to feed his powers for his next attack. The Force around him screams in protest, but he welcomes that pain and uses it to drive him forward, knowing he is the master. The death field around him forms, and it starts with the tree he's using as cover. It begins to wither and die, with leaves blackening and falling to the earth before crumbling to ashes. The ground around him follows, blackening, choked, and barren. The first warrior gasps, falling to his knees as he feels himself getting lightheaded, and then his body arcs back and his essence is ripped out of his body, leaving him a withered husk, his body crumbling to ash right beneath his armor. The other warriors soon follow, until he at last drinks enough power to unleash it. The Force energy that explodes outward is raw and utterly destructive, not just killing whatever it touches, but sucking all life from them. The Mandalorians are caught in the blast, their bodies collapsing to the ground and instantly crumbling to dust. Maul and Savage are a bit more fortunate. They are at the edge of this field and manage to avoid the attack. However, as the last hits them, their defenses still crack under the sheer power. They feel some of the Night Sister magics powering them starting to give way, and leaving the pair falling to their knees as the power subsides. The Chancellor walks out of the ruined garden, his eyes glowing a violent yellow as he offers them a smile and ignites his lightsaber. Rather than attack, Maul grabs Savage by the shoulder and pulls him back. The two leap over the edge of the garden. Palpatine runs after them and sees a speeder flying off, leaving him alone, surrounded by the ruins of the garden. Maul directs the speeder toward the prison as his communicator beeps in his arm. He taps the button, and Spybot appears by their side. He then directs the speeder towards the Mandalorian prison, where he finds the Jedi and Satine. The four are brought to him, where he has Spybot play back the recordings of their encounter with Palpatine.
If you still doubt the things I say, then allow me to show you some evidence.
The four of them watch in stunned silence as they see the hooded figure cutting through guards and holding his own against the two Night Brothers. He moves unlike anything they've ever encountered before and effortlessly cuts through the Mandalorians, but none of it compares to the death field he used in the garden, which silences even Obi-Wan. Yet the worst part is they do feel like something is familiar about him in the way he moves and carries himself. Anakin tears his eyes away and shakes his head.
No, I refuse to accept this.
You refuse to accept what is right in front of you.
No, I refuse these lies you are telling me.
If you still truly doubt this, then you have no need to look away. Spybot, zoom in on the attacker. Enhance the image. Yes, enhance it one more time.
As the droid complies with these instructions, they see the cloaked figure slowly grow clearer, and a face appears. The face of Chancellor Palpatine, but his kindly visage is gone and replaced with a cold sneer. Suddenly, Anakin lunges forward, trying to attack Maul, but is pulled back by Savage, who grips him by the shoulder. Still, he thrashes around desperately until Obi-Wan looks over.
Anakin, stop!
I hate to admit it, but there is no denying this.
No denying it. The hologram could be fake.
No, it's not. Focus, Master. Can't you sense it too? The darkness in the city? It's beyond just what these two are doing. There's something else.
I do feel it as well.
He's still here then. He's after Anakin, as you said. Is that why you're here as well?
He's proven more powerful than I expected. That is why I am here now, because I require your help.
You want us to help you kill the Chancellor? You must be even more mad than I suspected if you think we're going to do that.
Have you not seen the footage? After all that, you still truly think that this man is...
No, Anakin is right. Whether Chancellor Palpatine is the Sith Lord or not does not change the fact that you are still our enemies. You and your brother have rampaged across the galaxy and conquered this planet. You think we'll just forget that because the Chancellor is also a Force user? If you want our help, then you will submit yourself to Jedi authority.
And just why would I do that?
Because if he really wants Anakin, then he will keep him alive. But you, I think he would prefer to have you dead. So it appears to me that we have a bargaining power in the situation.
Well, allow me to correct that misconception. Because in case you have forgotten, the Duchess remains my prisoner.
I will not become some pawn in your game, monster. Obi-Wan, do not listen to him.
How brave, little Duchess. Do you value those pacifist values so much that you are prepared to risk everything?
Is that so surprising for someone like you? Yes, I am prepared to die for my beliefs.
Oh, I have no doubt. But let us see if you are willing to risk another's life for it.
Maul taps his communicator again. This time it activates his screen and shows Satine's nephew, Corky, in his cell. He's with two guards, one of whom pushes the young man against the wall while the other pulls out his blaster.
This young man helped you escape the first time. He must be quite close to you if he would risk his life in such a way. I wonder if he shares your conviction.
No, don't you dare!
Answer me first. Who is he?
He's my nephew, my sister's son.
Oh, a nephew then. It would be a shame to see him die, especially since you are lying.
I'm telling you the truth.
You have one sister. I read your files when I took over. I met with her as well, Bo-Katan Kryze. She has no mate, and all the warriors I spoke to have told me she's never had relations with another man. So tell me, how can this be your sister's son?
Stop it.
Answer me the truth or he dies.
All right. He's not my nephew. He is my son.
Your son? How can this be? Who is the father? No, that cannot be.
Don't you remember that time years ago when you first protected me?
Of course I remember, but Satine, why did you never tell me?
Because we both had our duties, Obi-Wan. I had a planet to rule, and you were trained to be a Jedi. I knew this would complicate things. I didn't want to be the reason you failed your trials, not after everything you've done for me.
If I had known, I would have left the Jedi Order without regrets and without looking back.
Well, isn't this moving? I still require an answer. Will you help me defeat Palpatine?
I will help you.
The rest of them nod in agreement, promising to offer their aid. And his plan is simple. He still has access to Mandalore's ancient armories that were preserved by the Death Watch and other Mandalorian clans. These contain weapons specifically built to stop Jedi, including a dampening field generator that can temporarily halt Palpatine's force powers. However, simply defeating him is not enough. They must destroy his legacy, and that is where their recording comes in. Satine can present this evidence and denounce Palpatine as an invader, violating Mandalore's neutrality. But in exchange, she will also officially abdicate her position and recognize Maul as the legitimate government.
This would make her an exile on her own planet. It would also make her enemies in the Republic. Satine will be an outcast.
I have survived worse. I would hope the Jedi Master would have more faith in the Duchess.
You'd better watch your mouth, you.
No, Obi-Wan. I said I would stick to my beliefs, and I will do it. If that is the price to bring the Chancellor to justice, then so be it. But here is a word of advice, Darth Maul. Mandalore has dealt with men like you who thought they could take advantage of it. It did not end well for those tyrants.
Perhaps, but that is a river I will cross when I get to it. Now, if no one has any more threats, we have work to do.
The next hours blur into motion. Savage and a handful of trusted Mandalorians haul the dampening dishes out of storage vaults where Anakin tries to make repairs and get as many operational as he can. Ahsoka strips down a coil array with Maul for spare parts, the two staring daggers at each other. Satine, still pale but steady, works with Maul's engineers to prepare the recording, making sure to leave no doubt of who Palpatine is and what she must say. Obi-Wan finds Anakin near the edge of the landing platform, wiping his hands as he gets the last dish operational.
You're quiet?
Just thinking about Satine, about all of it. She gave up years with someone she loved because she thought it hurt you.
She's a remarkable woman.
What about what you lost? What you could have had? Doesn't that hurt you?
Of course it hurts me. It hurts me every minute I've known. I'm confused. I'm sad. And perhaps more than a little angry.
But you don't look like it.
I've had more experience hiding it.
That's what I don't understand, Master. You're allowed to love someone in secret for years, but the moment I admit I care about someone too much to lose them, it's treated like I betrayed the Order.
Anakin.
Attachment leads to the dark side, so we don't hold on too tight. That's what we're told. And yet you carry these words around for how many years?
You're right, you know. I used to think detachment was a kind of strength, that the distance I kept from her was wisdom. She probably thought the same, too. She believed it was best for the people. I can respect that, admire it even, but now I am not sure I agree. Watching her face today, I don't think I gave anything up for wisdom, Anakin. I think I just gave it up and told myself it was wise. I still believe fear or loss can be dangerous, but I don't think I have the right to lecture you on detachment anymore. For that, I am sorry. I just hope you can forgive me for failing to see what you have always seen.
Master, I can never stay angry with you. Of course I do.
The two men smile, and Obi-Wan helps Anakin load the transmitter dish into the transport. Anakin leaves to help Ahsoka with her preparations. This leaves Obi-Wan alone, or at least that's what he thinks until he sees a shadow nearby and spots Maul leaning behind a bulkhead, watching them and offering a faint smile.
So, what happens after this? After Palpatine is defeated? Will you let me go?
I suppose I should. Everything here certainly threw a wrench into my plans. Is there something that amuses you? I can still kill you now.
I don't doubt you could. And yet, would that be what you want? A man who spent 16 years planning a conversation with me when he finally confronts me? Would it be anticlimactic?
You know nothing of what I've endured. That hatred is what kept me alive. It is what built all of this.
And I think you failed to see what you truly just said. You conquered a planet, threatened a boy, survived almost 16 years, and built an empire, all for one person. Someone you could destroy. That is not power. That is slavery.
Careful, Kenobi.
Careful of what? It is as you said. I am the only thing that kept you alive. Remove me and what is left. Just you. And who are you?
Darth Maul.
Another thing given to you instead of what you claimed for yourself. That is not a true answer.
Why are you talking to me instead of striking me down? Do not convince me you did not care about me, about the threat I posed, about vengeance for your master.
I did, but I don't act now because I have let go. My attention is now to something beyond you.
Soon enough, preparations are done, and they are ready to move out. They set the transmitter out in an open area in one of Sundari's gardens. There they allow their Force signatures to flow freely so that Palpatine may at least find them. Within the hour, the Force stirs, a presence, sharp and angry, moving towards them. The 3 Jedi and 2 Sith array themselves in a loose half-circle just as Palpatine appears at the edge of the garden. His yellow eyes flick between them.
How touching. Strange bedfellows making one last stand together.
As they approach, Ahsoka taps a remote, and the coils along the trees hum to life, and the air changes. It grows heavier as faint hums fill the air, and the 6 of them feel it in their ears. Palpatine's amusement flickers.
Clever. Borrowed technology, I assume, since neither the Jedi nor my former apprentice possess the imagination. But it will not save you.
He springs forward, lightsabers blazing in his hands as the 5 of them rush to meet him. Despite their numbers, Palpatine manages to counter their initial attacks. His weapon swings back and forth, parrying each strike and keeping them far enough back to avoid being fully mobbed. Savage is the least affected by this field, as he never relied on the Force. Now he plows forward, using his massive physique to simply overwhelm the Chancellor. Though he cannot channel lightning or strangle him, Palpatine simply sidesteps these attacks and uses the warrior's momentum to push him aside. Ahsoka comes in, swinging low, and then slashing her lightsabers in a cross-strike that forces Palpatine to jerk back and avoid the blow. She tries to press him again, but Palpatine moves with surprising speed and ducks under her attack. Once her lightsabers are clear, he grabs her arm and spins her towards Savage. He spins aside before she can attack again, just as Obi-Wan and Maul come at the same time. They move in opposite directions, forcing the Chancellor to constantly spin to avoid their attacks. It is a true struggle, but he knows Maul well and begins to predict each of his movements after a while, and finally he drives his lightsaber into one of his legs, leaving him stunned before diving out of the way when Obi-Wan tries to strike him from behind. However, this brings him face to face with Anakin. When he does, Palpatine is surprised to feel himself panting. Without the Force to support him, he begins to tire more easily, and despite his initial success, he is struggling to keep them back. And as he prepares to raise his lightsaber, he finds Anakin staring at him. The young man's weapon is ignited, but he makes no move to attack. Instead, he simply looks at the Chancellor. How tired and desperate he is. It is something he's never seen before, not even when Palpatine was captured. In that moment, he realizes just how all of it was an act.
Please, Anakin. Surely you can see the wrongness in this. To serve the Sith, you see how the Jedi twist their values when it's convenient. How long will it be until they have you do worse? Balance is not obedience. It is power. The power to choose. Finally, for yourself. Join me, and I will teach you everything, even what the Jedi won't show you.
You're right about one thing. I'm done letting anyone else write my ending. Not the Council's, and not yours either.
Anakin doesn't take Palpatine's hand. He turns his blade instead, driving it forward. Palpatine manages to parry the strike, but it cuts his side and leaves him gasping. He turns to glare at Anakin. He tries to backhand him away, but his attack is clumsy and lacks strength without the Force. Rather than throwing him aside, it merely stuns him for a moment, and now the Chancellor finds himself surrounded as Savage and Ahsoka rush him. Palpatine gives up ground bit by bit, and his defenses become less effective, and soon he begins to take wounds. He takes a blow to the shoulder from Anakin. Ahsoka swipes at his legs and knocks him off balance. When he does, another lightsaber drives into his side. Finally, Savage shoves him towards some trees. It is in those trees where Obi-Wan and Maul are waiting. They lift up their final surprise, a Force sarcophagus.
Now!
Together they force him down and in. Anakin and Ahsoka attack Palpatine from the flanks, their lightsabers flashing, and appear as little more faint lights that begin to disorient the Chancellor. Savage continues to barrel forward, happy to unleash his rage. When the Chancellor tries to swing at him, the Night Brother catches him by the wrist and squeezes until the bone snaps, and then he hurls him toward the sarcophagus, which Obi-Wan shuts. The ancient sarcophagus locks tight, its dark energies coiling around the Chancellor. A prison built to contain a being of pure force, and not even Palpatine can break free of it. Silence falls over the ruined garden. Savage leans on his weapon, breathing hard, but looks at them.
So, what now?
We have unfinished business. You are still our prisoners.
Like hell we are.
No, let them go.
What?
Palpatine is worth far more than Kenobi. I will not risk that prize for such a meager catch. Let them go and deliver the Chancellor to his Senate.
Have you thought about what I said?
Do not push it, Kenobi. I have not decided what I want from you yet, so get out of my sight before I come to a decision.
By the time morning rolls around, Satine is standing in front of a transmitter, sending the discovery her allies made and showing the footage of Palpatine attacking Mandalore with unnatural talents. She also ends with her resignation as Duchess of the planet, formally handing it over to Darth Maul. She boards her ship, accompanied by Obi-Wan, Anakin, and Ahsoka, who will escort the Chancellor back to Coruscant to face the Jedi's judgment. However, they will not stay there. Anakin plans on leaving the Jedi Order once he finishes training Ahsoka, while Obi-Wan, Satine, and Corky plan to set up their home on another planet. They believe many Mandalorians may not wish to live under Maul, so they will set up their own home somewhere else, where their dream of a peaceful society can live on. That's our theory. Star Wars is a galaxy filled with exciting stories and possibilities, and we love exploring them. If you want to accompany us on this journey to a galaxy far, far away, then please like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Don't forget to check out our sister channels, Half-Blood Theorist and Three-Eyed Theorist, for deep dives into Harry Potter or Game of Thrones.